Okay, so our next big question is, how do you get the people to be interested in you, to know you, to like you, to start coming to you with their business questions?
That's a great question. I'm not going to give you a Harvard MBA kind of answer because first off, I don't have a Harvard MBA, but I do have some common sense. And I would suggest that common sense is pretty much the most uncommon thing out there, and there's plenty of evidence to support that. So, all things being equal, people do business with and refer business to people they know, like, and trust. So at the end of the day, in order to increase your business, you need to increase your know, like, trust factor. This isn't rocket science. If I can add so much value to you and your business or your personal life or whatever it is, at the end of the day, you're going to start to like me. So if I identify you on LinkedIn by using the advanced search features, and then I connect with you on LinkedIn, and then I start looking for ways to add value to your life. If I know you're in whatever industry you're in, I can start to send information, not spamming, but just touching you from time to time with information that's of interest to you. A very normal question that people say is, how would I know? How would I get information if I'm talking to somebody who's a CFO? How would I know what the heck is interesting to them? I would set up a Google alert. A Google alert is just, you can create an alert on Google. Any word in the universe, it goes into a folder, and anything that you want, I can now, if I wanted to find things that were interesting to CFOs, I could set up a Google alert. Once, twice a month, I could go in there, find an interesting article, and I could send it over to you and say, hey, Kate, I saw this interesting article relating to being a CFO in Colorado Springs. Thought you might find it interesting. Here you go. Hope you're having a great day. Are you open for a cup of coffee sometime?
So you're saving them the time of having to do those searches themselves and giving them relevant information.
I am. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time somebody took the extra couple of seconds to actually show you enough appreciation to send you information that would be of benefit to you? It doesn't happen every day.
No, it doesn't. It's uncommon.
So once you start doing that, you really differentiate yourself from all the people that are smiling and dialing, trying to get past the gatekeeper, build rapport, and oh my, did you catch that fish on the wall?
Right.
You're building a relationship versus a transaction.
And it has value.
And it has value. Or how about just being so disarmingly honest with people that when you connect with them, you say, hey, Kate, how would I know if somebody that I'm speaking with or doing business with might be of interest to you? Very few people study networking skills, but when you actually take a sincere interest in other people and find out what's interesting to them and then give them what they want, how does that not create a know, like, trust relationship?
I bet that's a lot more fun too.
It's a very gratifying way to live because everybody likes you.
So I also have a question, like, how many people can you do this with? A lot of people tell me you have to make a sale, you're going to have to meet thousands of people, but I can't realistically keep the needs of thousands of people on a personal level in my head. Yeah. So how do you do that?
That's very true. You're never going to be able to be best friends with everybody. So what I do, and I don't claim to be, the genius of the universe on this, but what I do is, as I meet people, I'm always following up with a handwritten note, and there's ways to automate that too, okay? Or at least, at the very least, an email. And I always ask people, do you mind if I put you on my newsletter list? But my newsletter is not a spam vehicle, and it's not a sales vehicle either. My newsletter is information that helps people in business. I send it out once a week on Mondays. I have almost nobody that ever opts out, because it's not buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. It's here's 3 neat little pieces of information that could probably help you in your business. And people love it. But I'm also keeping my name in front of those people on a frequent basis without ever being a spammer or a stalker. And when I run into people, I've run into people in airports in Houston, Miami, and they go, I'm on your newsletter list. I had somebody the other day from Kurdistan send me an email saying, I love your newsletter. How he got it, I have no idea. Because things in a more and more interconnected world, it goes around. So maybe if people would create some type of a vehicle that adds value to people, that keeps their name in front of people without ever being perceived as a spammer or a stalker, if and when people are ready to do business, at least they're thinking of you.
So how would that apply if you were a plumber or an electrician or a contractor? Can they do that as well?
Sure.
Because people aren't going to probably need renovations on their house very often, or even a plumber, hopefully, very often.
Yeah. That's a great question, and I don't claim to be an expert about the plumbing industry. But I will say that all things being equal, people do business with and refer business to people they know, like, and trust. So, if every time a plumber met a new client or did business with a client, most businesses' goal is to reduce their marketing and advertising expense and to get mostly referral-based business.
Right.
In a perfect world, you'd spend zero on advertising and marketing, but you would have to have people referring you business all the time. How do you do that? Well, what you do is you become so valuable to people that they want to do business with you. But the other side of that is that if they forget it, it's the old out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
If I'm not thinking about you, I'm not thinking about you. So then the question becomes, how do you keep your name in front of people in a non-spammer-like fashion? If I was a plumber, I would create a once-a-month newsletter. Why not? What's it take? It's probably going to take him an hour. All a plumber would have to do is once a month take all of his clients on an email distribution list. Every time he does business, who doesn't have email nowadays, right? Every time you have a new client, can I get your email address? Sure. And just create a newsletter that went out once a month and just said, here's some interesting things related to business in Colorado Springs. Even if they never even opened up the newsletter or read a single article, every month they're seeing your name.
Could it be very short, like the tip of the month or something?
Because most people don't have time for War and Peace.
Right.
Most people don't want to read a book. Most people, my newsletter's that way too. It's very short. It can be read in 3 minutes or less.
Okay.
Very simple.
Because when I think newsletter,
that.
I think long.
No. Yeah, don't think too long. Because most people are in a hurry. They're busy. So as long as it's short, it's sweet, it's not salesy, it's informational, and it shows respect to the reader, you'll be amazed at how that people will get it and go, you know what, I really like this. There's a lot of value in this, and they'll pass it on to other people, and they'll pass it on to other people, and they'll opt into your newsletter list. And before you know it, you've got 5, 10, 15,000 people a month getting your newsletter. And then when somebody says, you know what, I need a plumber. You know any plumbers? Yeah, I've been getting this guy's newsletter for the last year. Call him up. He's a nice guy. Again, in a more and more interconnected world, this is what social media is about. It's about connecting people. It's not about spamming people.
And helping them out. And so now we were kind of talking about time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take another break here, and then I'm going to ask you some time questions.
Sure.